Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for podcast number 5. This is the DXB podcast from DirectXbox.com. This is our pre E3 podcast. There won't be another podcast until the day of the press conferences on Monday, June 9th. I'm joined by 4 other members today. I am your host, Chanogram, real name Channing, and I'll let these guys introduce themselves quick.
I am Landshark, real name Scott.
I'm
Next.
Carnal, real name's Dominic.
Hey, I'm MWJW, real name Michael.
And this is Av3rag3 Gam3rguy, real name Average.
Someday you're going to slip up.
I know it'll come.
All right, so as we said, this is going to be our pre-E3 podcast, so we're going to spend a little bit of time on some other topics first, and then we're going to get right into our sort of pre-E3 discussion, what we want to see, some of the rumors, confirmed games, etc. So stick around, stick around. You won't want to miss that one. I can't promise it'll live up to the hype that Av3rag tried to get it to with his trailer that he created, but we'll try. So, yeah.
It was all in fun.
So if you've listened to us before, normally we do a kind of what we're playing this week. It's really easy. No one's really playing anything new, at least, other than Watch Dogs, which came out on Tuesday. So instead of going around the horn, so to speak, of what we're playing, we're just going to kick off a Watch Dogs discussion, what we think about it. So I'm just going to say my 5 seconds of what I think of it, and then we'll let someone else talk. It doesn't really matter who. I think it's awesome. I think it deserves its 8 and 9s that it's getting mostly. So I've had a ton of fun with it, and I typically don't have that much fun with these games. So before I go any further, I'll let one of you guys go who wants to talk more about it. Av3rag, you have a lot to say about this game, I bet.
I like it. Let me pause it so that I can actually talk about it for a second. No, but as a fan of Assassin's Creed, as a fan of Grand Theft Auto, being a fan of open world games, period, I was always excited for it. It wasn't so much the fact that it looked good graphically. Of course it did when it was first revealed. But for me, it was the interaction. It was something different. One of the things that is lacking in open world games is the interaction. You can only go into certain buildings. You can only go so far on the map. Well, a lot of that is kind of alleviated in Watch Dogs because you can hack into just about anything. So you have access to almost a whole nother world. You know what I mean? So you may not be able to go into building A, you can go around building A and hack into it and then see what's going on inside of building A. So it just creates a whole nother dynamic that hasn't been present in a lot of open world games, and I'm enjoying it. It's been the only thing that I've played since it came out. Well, I won't say that I did play Titanfall, but play some Battlefield, just traditional shooter type stuff, but this has been the game since it came out, and I have nothing bad to say about it so far, to be honest.
All right, who else?
Whoever's next.
Go ahead,
I'll
MW.
say a little bit about it because I was kind of from the opposite spectrum, Av3rag really liked it, was really interested in it, and I had my doubts because I've seen open world games come and go. Some of them fail, some of them do really well, and I wasn't really expecting much out of this game. They had talked up a good game. They showed good E3. It didn't really meet a lot of my criteria for a really good open world game, so I was kind of skeptical. What really brought me over to go and get it was boredom.
Well, I think I tell him my part in that too.
oh yeah. Jenna's like, well, why don't you just go get it? You're gonna go out, and I'm like, all right, I'll go get it at midnight, of course. I was gonna go for a pack of smokes. Nope, came back with a video game. But ever since I put it into my system, it has not left. I've not played anything else. I might have watched some videos, played some cell phone games, but that game has been my main game, and I have enjoyed every single moment of it. I haven't had more than a couple frustrations, and that's mainly been centered around Uplay. The servers crashed a little bit there at the beginning, but after that, I mean, really, it's been a pretty stable experience. The game only maybe froze up on me once. I've had a great time. Got a good bit into the one-on-one hacking. I'm probably about halfway done with the storyline at this point. Every activity has been, some have been fun more than others, but it's been fun overall experience.
All right.
But, yeah.
Carnal, you want to go?
Yeah. As for Watch Dogs, I've been teetering on hyped, and then I kind of wasn't hyped, and then I kind of was hyped. As for my experience with the game, I've had a couple hiccups. I did the god-awful social lubricant achievement. Seriously, Ubisoft, what the heck were you thinking with that minigame? I did it, but then I got a glitch where my skills reset, and I could not put skill points into my skills. So I know glitches happen. I'm not mad, but after doing that achievement, I'm glad it happened after the achievement, so I didn't restart before. But as for the game itself, it's actually surprisingly very good, and online's really fun with the hacking other people and tailing other people. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with decryption mode, because that's terrible in my opinion. Racing's alright, it's basically racing. I mean, you really can't change that too much, but no, it's a pretty solid game. I'm enjoying it, and like everyone else said so far, it really hasn't left my Xbox, so.
Hey, Landshark.
Okay, I'll go. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, pretty much. I was looking for an open world game, and I was ready for an open world game, and there's a lot more going on in that game than I first thought, so there's always something to do, which is pretty awesome. And one thing that I found that I didn't think I was going to like as much as I do is just walking around the town hacking people, like seeing what people are, like their profession or how much money they make, stuff like that. It kind of puts a twist on open world games where usually the NPCs walking around are kind of anonymous and just sort of there. But now, even though some of it's superficial, you get the sense of like, oh, these are people that have other things going on. So, I don't know, that was kind of cool. But yeah, I like everything about the game so far. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's the best open world game, but I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. And I actually like the hacking, the 1 versus 1 hacking stuff. You can kind of be incognito and sneak into someone's game. Surprisingly fun. So that's about it for me.
All right, so we'll come back to me, and I'll finish out I'll give my last little bit here on Watch Dogs, since I didn't say much at the beginning. I want to let everyone else get their piece in. So the one thing that unless I mistakenly missed it or wasn't paying attention, which happens occasionally, no one brought up graphics, and that's a very good thing. I love the fact that none of us brought up the graphics in a good or bad way. It's just a matter of all the things we like about the game have nothing to do with the graphics. Sure, the game looks good. It's not a bad-looking game whatsoever. It's a great-looking game. And the detail is amazing on the city. It's mind-blowing how detailed some of the stuff is, and the amount of stuff that's there. But, yeah, I'm glad none of us even brought it up in passing, which I think is pretty impressive. It speaks a lot to the game itself as far as content. I mean, do you guys think, in general, we probably should address it a little bit? The game looks good. Does anyone have any disagreement there? Were they disappointed or anything?
They could buff up the anti-aliasing, but it's not that bad at all. It's actually pretty good. It's the best. I don't know. It's the best open world game I've seen. Even talking about Grand Theft Auto, I mean, Grand Theft Auto looks amazing for the 360, but you're not going to get the clarity as you are with Watch Dogs.
You're not going to get the draw distance. No,
or the amount of people on the screen and stuff like that.
Oh,
exactly.
No,
That, and one of the main things that they nailed in this game is scale. One of the things in Grand Theft Auto that takes you kind of out of the game is your character standing next to some buildings. it doesn't look like the building is tall. It looks like the character is bigger than the building in some aspects. Like if you move the camera a certain way, it just has a weird sense of scale. When you're walking or driving down the city, or if you're driving in the suburbs, wherever you're at in this game, the scale is always correct. When
Yeah.
you're standing next to a skyscraper, it feels like if you look up, you're standing next to a skyscraper. And I think that's one of the, especially with an open world game, that's one of the biggest things that creates that open world is the fact that the scale is correct. And they did a really good job with that.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Go ahead, MW.
I mean, yeah, there were a couple graphical comparisons, out there against their E3 video. Daytime, not as good as their E3 video. I don't care. I'm having fun. Nighttime gameplay, just as good. Just as pretty, just as beautiful, especially in the rain. They nailed rain real well.
Oh yeah, I love the way rain
mean,
hits the ground. Looks amazing.
A lot of open world games, Skyrim or Grand Theft Auto or any of them. I don't like traveling at night. It's dark. The city's not lit up right. This one, it's amazing. It's fun to actually go out at night. You don't have a problem seeing the cars.
Yep.
It's perfect. So I like their nighttime a lot more than I thought I would. So that gets a plus for me.
Yeah. One other thing I want to bring up about the Watch Dogs game before we move on. I mean, it's the one game we have to talk about that we've all been playing, so I want to make sure we give it its due. Plus, I think it's going to be one of the better games of the year overall. Who knows where it's going to end up in the list, but right now it's probably the best overall game I've played so far this year. So the comparisons between it and GTA, I know there's lots of similarities, but I've said this to MW, and I think I said it to Average. I don't think the other guys were in there. Maybe you were. I think this game, and I actually rebought Assassin's Creed 4 this week and popped that in for an hour. I think this game has way more in common and is closer gameplay-wise and just the elements of the game to Assassin's Creed than it is Grand Theft Auto.
Definitely.
I get why Grand Theft Auto is an easy comparison because you can take cars, you can, it's got the driving aspect of it. But if you took Assassin's Creed, just tweak the story a little bit to make not an assassin. I mean, you sort of, kind of are in a way, but not really. The mission structure, the fact that you sync, your CTOS towers, and I've said this before as a joke to you guys, and you guys probably know, it's like every time I hack a CTOS tower, I look around. I'm like, hey, can I just jump off into a hay bale? Because that's what I feel like I should be doing right now.
Should have been an Easter egg.
Yeah, after syncing the game, that would be an amazing Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense that it's very similar to AC. That's because it's made by the same company and they share a lot of assets. But
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I both agree and disagree with that statement. I think I don't know. It's hard. It's a mixture of Grand Theft Auto and Assassin's Creed. I don't think it's closer to any which way, but I know what you're talking about.
I just don't like the GTA with hacking comparison. Is what I'm getting at specifically.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. Is it's GTA with hacking.
It's less
It borrows from a lot of great games, and it makes everything good. It makes it its own game. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't reinvent the wheel every time you buy a new car. You can't.
What were you going to say, Landshark?
I was going to say, this actually, it's less, it reminds me less about Assassin's Creed than I expected it to. Everyone talked about how it's similar, blah, blah, blah. But when I played it, I never once thought about Assassin's Creed when I was playing it, so.
Honestly, I could only think of GTA. I mean, the cell phone, the stealing cars, the open world city.
It's just the era. That's why it makes it's easy to compare to GTA. It's just the era of the, if you took, it's just a modern day Assassin's Creed. That's what I'm getting at, is that it's, it's an easy comparison. It's just not the right one, I don't think.
I can't climb up the side of a skyscraper. It is not an Assassin's Creed yet. I'm just saying.
But you can hack the camera on the side of the skyscraper and do that instead. So what caught me by surprise?
Hang on. Ever's been trying to say something.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ever.
Even in all of that, Grand Theft Auto 5 was an awesome game. No one will deny that. So if you're telling me that this game is Grand Theft Auto 5 and I can hack as well as do everything else, then I'm still happy because it's
Yeah,
still a good
exactly.
game. And I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
what people miss when they make all of these comparisons to other games. If you're comparing it to something that was already good and already great and it adds something that makes it better, what's the issue? There
I,
is none. You have a much better game, so why
Well,
are you complaining?
I don't think it's a much better game, but they added and subtracted. I mean, you can't fly in it. You can't.
Right, but
I
there's
mean,
no need. I mean, with the amount of hacking, I mean, if you were flying a plane, somebody decided to hack it and crash it into the ground every time you decided to fly it, you'd be a little
which would
upset.
be
So.
funny as heck.
Right, the
I'm
first
sorry.
time. The first time, yeah, but every time you go to fly, so I mean, every game has balance. You have to
right.
balance the good with the bad, and it has to be its own game. That's
Well,
why
well, that and
the
there's enough
comparisons
substance
don't
in it.
work. Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
haven't
don't
beaten.
need flying. It's not necessary. There's a ton to do in that game. There are a ton of mini games. There are more than I've even played at this point, and I'm
yeah.
halfway
Go
through the
shoot some
story.
aliens.
Oh yeah, go shoot some virtual aliens like you're a crazy person.
No, I like
It's
a lot of things
awesome.
about Watch Dogs, but I don't know. To me, I still think Grand Theft Auto 5 was the better game.
They're both good games. I'm not
Just
going to
my
argue that.
personal
Really.
opinion.
I mean, you can definitely have your opinion on that. If you like one game more than the other, it doesn't
Yeah.
make you wrong.
But I have not
Absolutely
beaten this game yet, so I can't like judge elements of story or anything yet. But
Yeah.
so far, let's put it that way.
The one thing that ticks me off is people are like, "Oh, it's Assassin's Creed, but it's not as good as Assassin's Creed." Well, no, because you're trying to make it into Assassin's Creed. It's its own game. It's got its own name, its own developer. It's not going to be that game. You want Assassin's Creed? There's 5 or 6 of them.
And
There's
there'll be a
some
new
on
one
the
this
Vita.
year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have Assassin's Creed games to play. Don't come into a game and expecting the exact same thing.
Exactly.
You know, be happy with what you have just because it's not as good as this game at stealth, or it's not as good as this game in its open world. Maybe you don't like the car physics. Those are valid complaints, but don't compare it. It's not Forza. You're not driving cars in a simulation. Be happy that it is a lot of fun and a lot of things to do. Enjoy your time. Complain less.
And be happy that it's made well. It could have all of those things and be crap. So I mean, we get so, and it's a problem with gaming, like with a lot of other things. We get so quote unquote entitled to we have to have this and we have to have that in a game, and no, we don't. We have to take what the developer gave us, and we either give them our money or we don't give them our money. But you can't
And
buy it
according to
and
their
complain that it
sales,
wasn't
they're very
GTA
happy
5.
with that
Oh
money.
yes. Oh, yes.
It sounds like Ubisoft has found a good formula for gameplay, like social aspect of gaming, because even their crew and Assassin's Creed, it's all kind of the same kind of social interaction.
Yep.
Or kind of
yeah,
business.
and
I can't wait till
Assassin's Creed
somebody
multiplayer is
stabs
no
me in the
joke.
back in Assassin's Creed.
I want to cut back to Watch Dogs though.
No,
One
it's
thing
coming.
that stood out to me that I was really surprised about, while like in Watch Dogs the gunplay is pretty awesome. Like guns are good, they feel heavy weighted. But what I found interesting is that I almost never use my weapon in Watch Dogs, unless I like totally screw up and have to defend myself. But I really don't use it that often.
You play much differently than I do then.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it is you can, if you want to, you can. But I found myself just
Absolutely.
not using it.
That's another game we didn't bring up. The comparison, Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
It is
the
a lot.
cover mechanic. Yeah, the cover mechanic.
cover
You can tell
mechanic
if you
very
play
heavily.
Splinter Cell Conviction, you know that this is the cover mechanic from that game. One of the things, who was it that just mentioned that a couple of minutes ago? You have to remember is that the main character in this game is a vigilante. He's not a trained operative or assassin or anything like that, so it's not going to be as good. But you can definitely tell that they took that.
Yeah, I think
cover
Monday
mechanic
Monkey
and
brought
put it
that
in
up
here.
to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
It's very
collaboration of
valuable.
all the best parts of all the best games. I mean, there's not much can go wrong with that, in my opinion.
No, if it's
Ubisoft
put
has
together well, go right ahead.
They have themselves right now with the talent they have in that studio, across all of their projects. When you can borrow from a AAA game and put it into a AAA game and make that game better, like you're running on all cylinders at that point. It doesn't matter about graphics at that point if you can create worlds that people believe and want to come back to, and obviously we do because we haven't put the game down since it's been out on Tuesday.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
All
And
right.
hopefully it stays that way for a while.
All right.
Until the next game comes out, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know I want to switch topics here in a second, but I know one thing not about Watch Dogs, but about Child of Light, which is also a Ubisoft game. I just beat Child of Light today. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the final battle, I did like 15 times before I beat it.
Wow.
And I was playing on hard, and I realized I was roughly level 42 when I tried to attempt it, and it really should be higher level than 42 when you try to attempt it, just FYI. Prevent yourself some frustration.
At least if you're doing it on hard.
Yeah, definitely on hard. That was fun. Tons of fun. Excellent. That game gave me so much value for what I spent on it. Oh my gosh. But okay, that's all I want to say.
All right. Let's move on topics. I think we've covered Watch Dogs pretty good. In summary from all of us, it's a fun game. So don't be afraid to spend $60 on it. You'll get your $60 worth.
Unless you're getting it on the PC. Might want to wait for the first patch or two.
I used my Bing rewards on it and got $15 off.
Bing.
Ding.
You mean someone uses that service?
I do all the time.
I use it all the time.
Yeah. I could have got more off, but I didn't want to use all my points. So.
It's just a joke. Anyway.
I'm too used to Google. I cannot switch. Every time I want to look something up, it's Google. I can't get my brain to train to Bing.
All right, we're way off topic.
Sorry.
Pulling it back in. This is going to be a huge podcast. We got to make sure we keep on topic as much as possible.
Yeah.
So now that we're done with that, we've been playing one game basically with a couple ones in there. We got a couple quick items, and then we're going to get right into our bigger E3 stuff. So a couple things happened this week. It was actually a surprisingly slow week, I thought, considering how fast news was coming out in the previous couple of weeks. But even so, there's still a couple things worth noting. First, and this is kind of a sad one to a lot of us, Quantum Break, while not a delay because technically it was never promised to be out in 2014, is now officially stated as 2015. And with that, we got a new I got 2 or 3 minute, maybe even longer than that, I can't remember. I don't want to call it necessarily a trailer, but it's with Sam Lake, I believe his name is. One of the big wigs, if not the... Does he run the studio? I don't even know what he is.
Yes.
Is he the studio? Okay. Yep, so he's the Remedy guy. He's also the guy who Max Payne was modeled after. I know everyone watches that, and it's hilarious in the comments. Is that Max Payne? Yeah, it's commonly known that they used his face for Max Payne. So they had some gameplay stuff in that trailer. It was kind of hard to see. It wasn't a true gameplay trailer in that sense. It was just kind of a teaser, and then giving the announce window or the release date window of 2015. For what you could see, I mean, it still looks good. They did release Remedy 4 supposedly according to them, in-game screenshots in full 1080p. Did you guys see those in the post that I put in there?
I don't know if I saw the post, but I saw some comparison shots of the E3 last year and the shots that just released now, and the ones that are now are as good, if not better, than last year's.
Yeah. Yep. So if you guys want to right now, you can go look. Otherwise, yeah, in that Quantum Break thread, there's 4 high-res photos, and the game looks gorgeous. Graphics not going to be an issue. I'm more curious how the game's going to play because we really don't know much about it. So we know the story is going to be good because it's Remedy. They usually don't make bad games in that sense. So there's not much to be said about that other than we're not going to hear about it at E3. At least as far as we know, according to them. Their big reveal, gameplay reveal, I should say, their big blowout on the game is supposed to happen at Gamescom, which is in August sometime. Very strange in a way because that's one of their bigger games. They're kind of pushing it out of E3. I think we'll speculate and say that it's hopefully because they just have too much awesome stuff that they just can't fit it in. And now that it's not coming out this year, maybe they want to push it, kind of not off to the side necessarily, but focus on some other stuff that we either don't know about or is coming out this year. That's best case scenario. I don't know even what worst case would be. I don't know. I have a hard time believing it's just not ready to show at E3. I just don't think 2 months after the game has been in development that long is going to be a deal breaker. Why they wouldn't show it at E3. So I believe them. Yeah, we'll see more of it at Gamescom. Maybe we'll see something at E3. I just don't think we'll see much. So
I think and I don't want to go on it too long, but I think they want to showcase it. And unfortunately, while E3 is a showcase event, if you're trying to get a lot of information out, which it sounds like that's what Microsoft is trying to do with this E3, it wouldn't be the right time to do it because they are trying to talk about so many games. So maybe that's what it is.
Yep.
Like you said, we'll know in a
Yep.
couple months.
Yeah, it'll give it its due time. So.
Yep.
We're gonna be so distracted for those couple months. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. So, all right, not much more to say about Quantum Break. That's pretty much it. We'll be talking more about that in the next few months, hopefully. So, next thing, Satya Nadella, the CEO, the new CEO, I should say, of Microsoft, made some comments with during the Recode conference. Is that what it's called? Recode, I think it is. He made a comment, and the direct quote is, "I have no intent to do anything different on Xbox than we're doing today." I believe that was in response to questions about possibly spinning off the Xbox division. There you have it from the horse's mouth. Yes, it's not a really, really specific comment, but I don't think he's trying to speak vaguely and then turn around and do something. I think he's just saying it is what it is. It's exactly what we're going to do until further notice. So could that change in the future? Sure. But I think Xbox is here to stay. So
It's here to stay.
Yep.
Definitely.
Or I should say Xbox is here to stay with Microsoft.
With Microsoft.
Yes, I know.
It's not going anywhere.
So that one is pretty self-explanatory. There's really not much of a discussion there. Battlefield Hardline. It's confirmed now. We all suspected, based on some pretty reliable leaks from a while ago, that the next Battlefield game was not going to be a DICE game and was going to be centric on cops of some sort, or normal law enforcement, not army or military. Well, the rumors were true. It's revealed, sort of. There was a big, 7-minute trailer, or I don't know what you call it, a trailer, video, something. Having gameplay in it, some story talk elements were in there, so you get a basic idea of what it is. It looks good, but the devs also said that this video was basically 6 months old. It's not new, so I think it was in direct relation to the graphics specifically, but they basically said this game, I expect it to look even better, both gameplay and graphically. So did you guys watch it? Anyone have any thoughts on it?
I did not watch it. I'm on media blackout for anything new. Until
I watched
E3.
it. It was. I've never been a big Battlefield fan. I guess I really haven't played them that much. I played 3 a little bit. I played 2 a little bit. I played them before. Don't get me wrong. However, this one has piqued my interest greatly, with the whole theme of it.
And I'm the exact opposite of Carnal. I am the hugest Battlefield fan. I own every single one of them. You can go and look at Battlelog. I own them all 10.
Okay.
Even the one that only came out in China.
So what
Anyway.
what are your thoughts on it then?
They can suck off and die until they prove me wrong. I want it to be good. It's a different developer, so you never know.
Oh, we
But
should say who the
honestly-
developer is. It's Visceral.
It's
So
Visceral Games, yeah.
Visceral is
Hey.
the Dead Space people. No, yeah, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it?
they're Dead
they're the
Space,
Dead
yes,
Space. So
yes.
they make good games. I guess
sure,
no one
sure.
hates the Dead Space games. So they
Dice
got
is-
pedigree at least.
Right.
DICE is helping and handling the multiplayer.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm
That's
not
a little
worried.
scary. Hopefully they're working on a brand new, apparently huge netcode patch right now for Battlefield
Well, they
4.
have they
8
have
months.
a whole system. They have a whole system. It's a CTE system where they're actually getting the code out to players and having them help with the testing before they implement it into
Oh
the
yeah.
game now. And all of the
They're-
information that's being used right now for Battlefield is going to go into all of their future titles as far as shooters and netcode. So Battlefield 4 is helping the next Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 5. It's going to help all those games get better.
Probably their DICE Star Wars, their Battlefront.
Yeah, all of it.
But here's the thing. They screwed me over with Battlefield 4. It's been 8 months and the game still isn't what I paid for. At least in my eyes. And I'm not offended. I'm not taking a personal vendetta against them.
But you are.
You don't sell me a lemon and then expect me to go to your car lot and buy a car next time. You got to prove me right or prove me wrong, one way or the other. So I'll wait.
See,
I've already got a ton of games to play. I got 3 huge games that I have to get this year. Halo Online. You got to compete against that. Destiny Online. Huge world, you have to compete against that for my money. And that'll be the same way it is with a lot of people. I hope they do good. I hope it's a fantastic game and that makes it 4 games, but I'm going to hold off until I see a lot more.
Okay, well, you can play whatever you're playing, and then the rest of us will play Battlefield Hardline when it comes out.
You can be playing Halo,
you can watch our stream.
I'll play everything.
It depends what Halo they release, so that's a whole nother side piece. Since it's not Halo 5, I may not pick it up day one. And if I do, it's an old game that I've played before, so I'm not going to be playing it over something new. So I'll fit in when I have time or play through it with someone who's never played. Like I was just talking to someone and. I don't know who it was. Someone from the community that we play with and talk to, but I have plans to loosely, if the Halo collection, Master Chief Collection actually comes out, to play through all the games and co-op with him. So, because he's never played them. Maybe it was Cabin, but Cabin never owned an Xbox 360, actually.
I honestly hope it's the other rumor, but we're not going to get into rumors.
Yeah, not so much, but yeah. So we got to move on from Hardline. We still have a ton of stuff. So. Well, obviously, we'll be talking more about Hardline. They're going to talk a lot about that at E3, I'm sure, since that's going to be one of EA's big games of the year. So, we'll have plenty to discuss at E3 about that one, I'm sure. So, last little bit of quick stuff. The order was delayed, officially delayed. This was a delay because it was originally scheduled for 2014. A holiday season-ish.
Holiday.
They don't know. Did they say when in 2015, or did they just say early 2015? Or?
Just 2015, no date yet.
Just 2015, no date.
Okay. So, kind of weird timing. They just released a Twitch video stream that we talked about, and then, a couple days later, they put out the notice that we're delaying it. They could have just been trying to create a little bit of hype and then delaying it to try and offset the furor of people who are desperately waiting for good games on the PS4. Not that there aren't any, but they're getting pushed back. The first party games are getting pushed back, and Drive Club's finally coming out sometime soon. It's just I don't own a PS4 yet, and that's why, is because there's nothing there that I really want to play. I'm not a big Infamous guy. I've never been a Killzone fan, so and this is one game that looks to me pretty cool. So if it had actually come out in 2014, it would have been a game to pick up. So now I'm just kind of, I don't know when I'm going to get a PS4. I guess we'll see.
You have more money for the holiday.
You and me both, buddy. You and me both.
So, but yeah, not much more. Do you guys have anything to say about the order? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit last week.
Looks great. Gameplay looks like crap, in my opinion.
Gears of War clone.
I'm the same. Yeah.
I don't mind the graphics. Don't mind the game. I mind that the graphics and the gameplay together make it seem claustrophobic. Everything that they've shown seems very claustrophobic. So hopefully at E3 and beyond, they can, really show what the game is supposed to be, how it moves. Because we really haven't seen how it moves, So I'm hoping that we get some of that so that we can make an informed decision in 2015 whenever it comes out. Because I would like to get a PS4, and I would like to get it for it if it's worth it.
Yep. I think we'll all probably have, a bunch of us will have PS4s eventually. Right now, I think Carnal's the only one that owns one. So.
I'm just waiting for a really good split-screen co-op game.
Something.
All right. Well, that's it for that stuff. We're going to switch gears to E3.
Okay.
Let me mention one thing real quick. If anyone cares about Mortal Kombat, it will be announced tomorrow. according to Ed Boon's tweet.
Or Homefront 2.
And Homefront 2.
Yeah, and tomorrow.
Hey, those are important to some people.
Tomorrow is Monday for anyone listening, which would be the 2nd. We record this Sunday night. So.
June 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
One thing I'm
yeah.
going to go really short off topic. WildStar Head Start started yesterday. Game's awesome. The login servers are crap because the queues are like 2 to 6 hours to log into servers. Other than that, I'm enjoying it. That's it.
Oh, other than that 6-hour delay of getting in the game.
Yeah, I've played a whole hour of it so far in 2 days.
Just a minor downside.
Stop hyping me for that. I won't have my computer for another.
Well, I have a lot more to talk about, but I'm not going to waste my time on this podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, WildStar might get brought up here in a few minutes anyway. So,
Yes.
All right. So, switching gears to E3, since this is the pre E3 show, I should probably talk about it, right? So, we're going to start the E3 topics with a couple quick notes from Phil Spencer via Twitter, because that's where he talks to everyone. We all know he's very interactive with fans on Twitter. I think he's even responded to people we know through various forums and stuff like that. One of the ones that got me was someone asked him, what his favorites or what he's most excited about, what announcement type of thing is he most excited about. And his response was he can't answer it because there are a couple announcements that'll be big. And basically the way he said it implied that he can't answer because he can't talk about it. So there are hopefully some things that we don't know about, and he's hinted at that plenty of times, that there's stuff that is not announced. Hopefully stuff that's not even been rumored, because I hope something wasn't spoiled yet. So the more the stuff gets spoiled, the less awesome E3 is, honestly. So.
And speaking of E3 and secrets and stuff that we don't know about, the biggest wild card for this E3 is the fact that 2 to 3 months later the Xbox launches in the rest of these territories. So there are so many things that they could have done to secure timed exclusive or exclusive, or talk to a developer. When you look at games like Strider, let me think of another little remake. I can't think of any other little remakes, but you look at a game like Strider that was a very good game, very good franchise back in the heyday of NES and Sega Genesis. Giving a developer something like that and saying, hey, can you make a downloadable title? There's so many games that can be done. People bring up Battletoads all the time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, there's so many wild cards. I heard that down. Who knows what we're going to see, and it's exciting to think about it, especially when the head of a division is as excited as we are about E3, because you sense genuine excitement in his tweets when he answers those people about what's coming, what he can't talk about. It's going to be the best E3 ever, blah blah blah. So,
all right. So I asked these guys. Hopefully, they thought about it a little bit, or they're gonna wing it. We'll see what they come up with. To come up with their best and worst moments that they can remember for E3. Could be vague, could be really specific about a game. Doesn't really matter. It could be any company. It could be E3 as a whole. We're each gonna give our favorite and least favorite things of any E3, going back as far as you want to go. It doesn't have to be recent. It could be the first year of E3, whenever that was. I don't even know. So with that, we'll go on. Landshark, why don't you start that?
Oh, Spotlight, man. So I don't have anything specific, I guess. I just, I've seen YouTube videos of like worst of E3 stuff and the best of E3 stuff. I don't really know what to talk about. This isn't going to sound too fanboyish. I guess like last year's, for instance, I thought Sony or Microsoft did a great job at E3. Talked all about games, did great. And then people said that Microsoft didn't do very well. I guess that was kind of weird. So best of E3, I don't know. I don't have anything to answer that question.
Sweet. You get an F on your homework.
All right, I
Good
fail.
job.
I don't know.
Zero.
Best
Not
of
even
E3
a
in the last few years, I thought last year's was actually really good, but I really can't think of like specifics from previous years. So I don't know. Oh, I'm expecting to get blown away this year, but that's all I got.
I got my specifics.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, who is yeah, you're up next, Carnal. Go ahead.
Let's start with my favorite. My favorite E3 moment was probably in 2004 when Halo 2 was announced, and it was going online. That blew my mind, because really we didn't have anything up until then that was online based, and Microsoft basically changed gaming forever on consoles with that. So that is probably my favorite E3 moment. My least favorite E3 moment probably was happening in 2006 when they completely changed the foundation of E3. Because I really wanted to go to an E3, and now that's not going to happen ever. Because they basically closed it to the public, and they got rid of booth babes. Why would you do that? Why would you do that, E3?
Because that's sexist. And it's awesome. But it's...
and it's awesome.
Yeah, so.
Alright.
Alright, I guess
yeah,
I'm up.
those are my two.
Best moment? Giant enemy crabs. I mean, that was... There were so many memes made out of that Sony press conference in, what was that, 2006? I mean, Kawasari sitting up there, and he seemed pretty excited for what he was showing, so I think that's why. I mean, whenever you get really excited, you just kind of geek out, and he just was happy. And there's nothing wrong with that, except he said some hilarious quotable stuff.
I think it was like historically accurate.
Yeah, this game's historical accuracy. And you flip the giant enemy crab over for massive damage. Oh, Ridge Racer, best stuff ever. There's so many quotes year after year. You know, my body is ready. Tons of the great stuff. But Sony's, I would say, over enthusiasm might have been the best moment, because I just got so many laughs out of it years down the road. Worst? I don't really have specific worst. I mean, there are some press conferences that are more boring than others. Some games you don't want to really care about. A lot of people didn't like Kinect because they never cared. A lot of people didn't like some of the stuff Sony was showing off with Move because they didn't care. And the technical issues, you know. But like last year on the Xbox stage, Battlefield just completely not working for a minute or two, you know. People laughing at that, and I'm going, nothing's ever perfect, but, you know, technical issues are always the worst moments, and it's not that they can help it, so.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that's mine.
Average.
2003, 2005. These are not bad moments, but there was a bad outcome. 2003, there was a gameplay trailer for StarCraft Ghost. 2005, there was a cinematic trailer for StarCraft Ghost. StarCraft Ghost never released, so it ends up being my worst moment of E3 for giving me the idea that the game was ever going to come out, because I still want StarCraft Ghost to release, even if it looks like it was going to in 2003. I would still want StarCraft Ghost.
Fair enough.
I was excited for it. I was excited for it. Just very, very excited. Best moment of E3 was actually very recently in 2011. I am a very big Tomb Raider fan. It's probably one of my favorite franchises, and for it to show up at E3 almost unannounced, my jaw dropped, and I was excited, very, very excited. So that's me.
All right. So I'm gonna my favorite point of E3 is actually not too bad. My least favorite is very recent, and it's just because it stuck with me and is so current in my mind. So my best moment. I'll start with that first. I can't remember the year. I'm sorry. I tried to look it up and couldn't figure it out. It was, I believe, it was Final Fantasy 13. That was one of those. Oh yeah, one more thing, and the guy from Square, I believe it was, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Came back
Yep.
onto the stage because he had already left. He was there for something else. He was there for another Square game or something. I can't remember what it was. He came back
Final
on.
Fantasy Online.
No, it wasn't Final Fantasy Online. It was Final Fantasy 13. I'm fairly certain.
Well, no. That was what he was originally up there for, I think.
Wow, he wouldn't. Oh, maybe that was it. Yeah, because that was. I
It was on
forget.
the
Final
360.
Fantasy 11 was
Yep.
on 360. Yep.
There you go.
He came back on stage after he had left and said, "Oh, one more thing," and they played the trailer for Final Fantasy 13, releasing
The
on
game
Xbox.
was only possible on the PS3.
Yep. And the reason why it was my favorite is not because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. It was that to me it signified the. Sure, 360 was big. Don't get me wrong, but it was finally, Square was one of those tough nuts to crack. I think for Xbox to get some of those big games on there, and that was to me kind of like the signal that hey, it's equal to PS3 now, or it's to the Sony PlayStation brand as far as it's getting the games that people do want now. And from there, it kind of snowballed into everything else. Now everything's fairly equal with their exclusives on various platforms, but there's not a lot of games that are made by third parties that are exclusive at a franchise level, if that makes sense. So that kind of was like the tipping point to me. So that was my favorite. My least favorite, I'm going to go with one from last year's E3. And only because it makes me sad. And that's as funny as I want to find it, the video of how to share your games really pissed me off. And it's not even because I love Microsoft or hate Sony. It's that it took the spirit of E3 and just took a shit all over it. Like, it's not... E3 has never been about, like... Sure, you want to one-up your competition, but you do it through showing cool stuff. You should do it through showing games.
Yep.
They don't make a lot of references to their competitors, usually, when they're on stage talking. They just talk up their product. And for them to take a blatant, shot at Microsoft, I just thought was really lowbrow. As funny as some people thought it was, and don't get me wrong, I smiled a little bit because it is kind of funny. It's just that's not the format for it. I mean, at E3, it's not about taking shots at your competitors. It's about talking up your product, and that just kind of. I hope it's not the beginning of more of that stuff. I hope they can kind of revert back to just doing their own thing in their press conferences and leaving the whole fighting, arguing, that's stupid stuff to the side.
It's political.
Yep. So I hadn't seen anything quite like that until that last E3. Like, that was so. Sure, there's subtle hints, like price or, subtle. There's subtle things throughout the course of E3 history that, sure, it's, yeah, they kind of
Like
you can
Kevin
tell.
Butler's whole appearance.
Well done, Colonel. Well done. It's in the chat. It's good chat, buddy.
So that's all I had to say. Those are my two pieces. So moving on to the next E3 piece. Now we're going to get into the actual stuff for this year's E3. So I'm going to run through a quick list of some. These are all confirmed games that should be at E3 and this isn't Microsoft or PS4 specific. These are just games in general that are confirmed to be at E3 that we're going to see more of. This isn't everything. These are just the big ones. I want to bring them up. And we're not really going to talk about them necessarily unless you guys have something specific you want to say on one. Just stop me and say something. But I'm going to kind of run through them quick. So, in no particular order whatsoever, let's go starting with the A's. So let's go. So Alien Isolation, Assassins. Yeah, I don't make much of those kind of comments throughout each of these because it's going to be an awful long list. There's a lot of games. I'm just going to kind of ramble them out here. But like I said, if you have a legitimate comment, if you have a legitimate comment, feel free to say something. So Alien Isolation, Assassin's Creed Unity, Arkham Knight, Batman, Battlefield Hardline, Keep in mind, I'm reading this list, by the way. I don't have the list right in front of me,
Damn
so
it,
bear with
Chrono.
me for a couple seconds of silence as I get through here. Deep Down. Nope, that one's not confirmed. Interesting. I'm sure it'll be there, though. Sorry about that. Destiny. Dragon Age Inquisitions. Evolve. Fable Legends. Far Cry 4. FIFA 15 if you're into sports. Halo 5 Guardians. Let's see.
Madden 15.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. Killer Instinct Season 2 apparently is confirmed. I didn't know that, but that's going to be there. Legend of Zelda for Wii U supposedly is confirmed.
I hadn't heard anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know if it has a little asterisk next to it. I'm not sure what that means, but according to
It's
IGN,
not supposed
it's
to be a
confirmed.
main franchise, is what the rumor is. So
Yeah,
that
it
could
is.
be
No,
why.
Oh,
I think they said they were making a Wii U Zelda and it will be announced at E3.
okay.
But
I'm pretty sure
they've
it's
already
yeah.
shown a trailer of the Zelda that they were working on, and I'm not sure that's the actual Zelda that people think it is.
Oh.
There's a Dynasty Warrior style Zelda game.
No,
Nintendo
that's
was
not what they were
working on.
talking about. There's going to be an actual Wii U Zelda.
Okay.
That's just a spin-off.
All right. Well, we'll find out in a week.
Sorry
Lords-
if I'm wrong,
No,
guys.
it's all right. We'll call you out next week if you're wrong. Lords of the Fallen, which looks great. Madden, as Average said. Metro Redux will be at E3. We'll finally get to see that game running for real on it without little tiny short clips and hopefully in direct feed. Shadow of Mordor, the new Lord of the Rings game, which looks good. If you're into handhelds, I guess Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I don't know what. Not a big handheld guy. NHL 15. Moving on. Sims 4. Almost done. We're getting there. Star Wars Battlefront is supposed to be there. Sunset Overdrive, of course, will be there in full force. Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. When is that game coming out, by the way? I thought that game was already out.
No, they
No.
have
Okay.
not released it
Shows you
They
how much
haven't
I
even
follow
released a
Nintendo.
trailer for it yet.
Okay. Well, that's sure we'll see that hopefully. So
There is
That's-
one. It's just
Is there?
in a bunch
teaser
of
more
other
than
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 15, which I thought wasn't even going to be called Tiger Woods, so maybe that's a placeholder title. I thought they had broken out. The Division is supposed to show up there, even though it's delayed or pushed back. Uncharted, the next Uncharted. The next Warhammer 40K, 40,000, whatever you call it. Witcher 3. And that's pretty much it, and that's enough.
Project Beast.
It's not really on here because no one knows what it's really called. So
I'm
it's
assuming
not on
gonna
this
be Demon
list.
Souls. But again, I
Who
don't care
knows?
about those games.
So this is the list of confirmed games with real titles. So yes, there's been heavily rumored and probably will be true of games that are going to be there, but this is the list of games that are for fact going to be there, according to official statements from the companies, I believe. So I skipped over a whole bunch of non-confirmed games that are expected to be there or are rumored to be there for now. So yeah, that's a huge list of games, and a lot of those games are coming out in the near future, either this year or early next year. So that's a lot of games, and as I was reading those off, there's at least 50% of those are games I want. So I wish we could show you the sad wallet. Maybe we'll post it at the thing. So
Just look at your wallet and make a sad face.
yeah, exactly. So now that those are confirmed, we're going to touch a little bit on just a couple of the rumored games. There's a ton of rumors out there for E3. We're not going to touch them all because, frankly, we don't want to spoil things if they are real. But there's a couple worth noting. I have one, and I think if anyone else has any they want to bring up, go for it. So the one I wanted to bring up was this guy. I think it's a guy, Shinobi, from Twitter. I can't remember the full Twitter handle right now. I feel like I should know this, but I don't. He's been right on a few things recently, and dead on. I believe this is the guy who initially leaked the day before that Halo 5 was going to have, a blowout of information. And I don't think anyone really took him seriously because no one expected them to announce Halo 5 right before E3. Well, sure enough, the next day, Halo 5 was announced, and we got some information on it. So, I don't know where he heard his information or where he got it, but apparently he was right. So his newest thing is, he said, Project Red, CD Project Red, the Witcher guys, are supposedly going to be at the MS conference on stage. He just said he didn't know what game it was, but obviously the two games we know for sure they're working on are Cyberpunk, is it 2077 or whatever that game is?
Let me just look at my desktop background real quick. Cyberpunk 2077, yes.
Okay, good. So that game, it could be that game. It could just be Witcher 3, which I think Witcher 3 is probably the more probable, because we don't know anything about the other one. But we all know Witcher 3 is going to be amazing. I would love to see Cyberpunk show up and be announced for consoles. I don't know if they've ever actually announced anything about the platforms or anything for Cyberpunk. I just think we know it's a PC game at least. So
Right.
His full Twitter name is Shinobi602.
Yep, yeah, I should give him a proper shout out since we're quoting
There
some
you
of the
go.
stuff from him. So you should probably, he's got a lot of stuff on there game related. So, he doesn't always just spill rumors or whatever. Sometimes he just talks about games. So go ahead and follow him if you want. I know Landshark has something of his own rumor that he wants to speculate on. So go
Yeah,
do
just
that.
really briefly, I noticed that XboxAchievements.com, which pretty much only does Xbox games, like I can't even see anything other than Xbox games on there, did a review on WildStar, or a preview, I guess, a few days ago. Kinda odd, since they don't do PC games, so maybe it's, I'm speculating maybe that's coming to Xbox One at some point. I'm not sure if it's going to be E3 or not, but just throwing it out there.
Well, you heard it. So feel free to roast him. We'll kick him off the site for spouting inaccurate information.
Yeah.
If he's wrong.
Prerequisite is rumors. He's fine.
Fair enough.
I just sent a tweet to WildStar to see if, just to kind of bring up Xbox One and see what they say.
Well, we'll find out.
Yep.
Anyone have any other specific, heavily rumored items they want to bring up? There's a lot of them out there, so if you don't want to touch them, that's fine too.
No.
Not really?
There's
I
too
did have
much.
one, but I forgot.
Sweet. Another one that's really heavily rumored that I personally think we're going to see. I just don't think we're going to see it at E3. I don't know. The GTA 5 on new consoles. If there was a place to reveal it and say here it is, this would be the time.
Oh, I remember.
Everyone's watching, so that'd be my other one that I might want to bring out, and that one's been rumored too. So.
I don't think this is really a rumor. I think this has been confirmed, but Rockstar will be bringing a new game to E3.
Oh, welcome to 3 weeks ago podcast.
Hey, I don't care. You said, we're talking about E3 here, and Rockstar is going to E3. That's big.
Yeah, I guess we didn't say E3 specifically. We just know that for sure. A couple podcasts ago, we talked about that, saying that for sure they're going to have a game this year. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So if they are coming to E3 specifically, I guess we'll find out.
That's why I put it in the rumor column.
All right. Moving away from rumors. So instead of talking about every confirmed game, we've been talking about these games for the last 5 weeks now, or 5th week, I guess, this week. So we want to go down, or break it down by the three big, companies, platform holders, I should say, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. And we want to talk as a group about sort of what we want to see from each one, what we maybe expect to see, and what we hope to God we don't see from the various platform holders. So we're doing okay on time. So we're going to finish strong with Microsoft, because I personally think this is Microsoft's E3 to lose, in my opinion. They could get blown out of the water by Nintendo and Sony for all I know, but I feel like it's their time to shine here because they got to bring it. But we're going to save that one for last. Plus, it seems to be our favorite console currently. So, yeah, it's the one we own at
Currently
least.
until proven otherwise.
Exactly. So let's start with Nintendo. So I'm not a big Nintendo guy. I've freely admitted that. I don't hate Nintendo. I don't like them. I don't love them. They're just kind of there. I'll play them if there's something worth playing. So I'll let one of you guys start it off. And we're not necessarily going to go around the horn for each of these because it'll take forever. So just if you have something, go ahead and say it, and we can talk about it. So
I think...
let's start first with what we want to see from Nintendo.
I am expecting some pretty big things from Nintendo. The only reason is because they've been pretty quiet. I could almost see a new console announced. I don't like guarantee or in my mind think there's going to be a new console, but it's possible just because of the Wii U's doing so poorly.
Wasn't there a rumor there's new hardware they're going to announce? Some kind of hardware at E3?
Yeah, but that could be anything.
Yeah.
That could be the dang little pad for them to put their new Skylanders-ish
Yeah, it's true.
crap on.
I don't expect them to release anything massive at E3 this year, especially because they're not going to be at E3. Technically, they're going to be doing their live stream thing, or whatever that is.
I think that they will show X. I think that they will show, because there is a Smash Brothers tournament being held at E3. For whatever they reveal of the game, so that will definitely be big for them, because that's the best way to show off gameplay, is to show people playing it. But there either has to be a Metroid or Zelda announcement at E3. That's what I think that they are going to do. They have to show X, they have to show a Metroid or Zelda, and to be perfectly honest, they have to show that Bayonetta 2 is actually going to release on the Wii U. Because they've shown a couple of gameplay trailers, they've shown that they're working on it, and they've shown that it looks good. Show me that you're going to release it, so that we know that you're going to release some games for the system. And that's all they need to do. It's not even a want, a need, a hope. That's what they need to do.
Right. I mean, I really hope that they show off, a ton of great games. I hope their video goes really well, and then they bring, a lot of great games for people to actually play. Because last year was really weak. Really weak. The video conference didn't really wow anybody. I mean, their biggest announcement was Mega Man last year for Smash Brothers, and you're going, it's Mega Man. That's cool, but that shouldn't be your big, huge, blow us away kind of event. But I think hopefully they've learned a couple lessons, but as time and time again they've shown they haven't. They walk their own path. It might not be the path that we want them all to walk, but they keep walking down it, and they're not out of business yet. So we'll see what happens. I hope they do well.
So yeah, go ahead,
I
Carl.
grew up with Nintendo. I love them.
I was just wanting to say, on regards of what I hope doesn't happen at E3.
Hey, we're not there yet.
Well, fine. Sorry.
I have something I want to say, what I hope they do, before we get into the
Okay, sorry.
what we don't want to see them do. So, I'm gonna since you guys are all being in the realm of like realistic shit, I'm gonna take the route of going non-realistic and say these are what I really want them to do. Will it ever happen? Probably not. This is what I want to see, not what I expect. So I would love to see Nintendo say that this is going to be their last home console. Not last console, period, necessarily, if you count handhelds as consoles. I don't want to argue about that again like we did a few weeks ago. But last real home console that hooks up to your TV and sits there. I would love them to come out and say, we're going to keep supporting this, but we're not going to go down this route again. I want to see them go third party. I would love to see them partner with either company. And just because I could even care less if they partner with Sony. I would love to see them get away from their crappy consoles. Because let's face it, their last two consoles are not what I consider hardcore gaming consoles. They're just not.
So I wasn't going to mention this, and if I could be anonymous, that'd be awesome, but I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised to see some Nintendo's first party going third party in the near future. And I have a very good reason for saying that, and I can't tell you why, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that coming up.
All right. That's what I want to see. So if that happened, I like Nintendo's games. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Mario. If no one hates Mario, let's be real. But I don't love them either, and it's not. The games aren't good enough for me to go buy a Nintendo platform, and their third-party support is non-existent for the most part. Yeah, not even lacking, just not there. There is none. So
Sure.
it's. I would love to see. Sure, would I buy a Mario game if it was on an Xbox platform or a PlayStation platform? Hell yeah, I would, because I don't have to buy the stupid $300 piece of shit that I don't want to play it on. You know, so it's purely a matter of. It's my opinion. Don't get me wrong. If you have a completely different opinion, that's perfectly fine. I don't hate anyone who loves Nintendo.
I say
really
preach
don't.
on, brother. Preach on.
But this is super unlikely. I think they're going to try and keep going with the console just for whatever reason. But I would love to see them go the route of Sega.
Nintendo.
I will say this.
Stubborn ass company ran by old men that don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore in technology.
Probably.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Here's another way of saying it. I will say that there are certain companies that are expecting Nintendo to go
Third party.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. So did everyone kind of... Is there any other topics you want to bring up as far as what we want them to do or what we expect them to do?
One thing I want to mention is actually totally my own personal opinion is, are they going to allow or kind of push more third-party developers at E3? I don't know, but I feel like Nintendo's kind of riding on their first-party stuff, which is great, and they've done really well. But it seems like all these companies, developers recently say, no, we're not doing this for Nintendo, no, we're not doing that for Nintendo. It'd be interesting to see if they push some third-party developers on stage, or I guess not on stage, but, on their presentation, whatever they're doing this June.
Well, here's the thing. Even if they push them up there and they get to talk, and Nintendo says, we're going to support them, look at all these third-party games, it never has came true. They've always been lackluster, and they're never up to the quality of Nintendo, because Nintendo builds consoles for Nintendo. You want to make a game? Good luck. And, I mean, it's sad. I love Nintendo. I want them to do well. I want them to be happy, but...
I want them to be smarter with their hardware. Yeah. That's what I want. So, I don't know. Yeah, let's go to what we... Cause I think this is the whole side piece to Nintendo, especially Nintendo, I think, because they're kind of in the... Well, they're the dark horse of E3, I think. Like, they have the most to prove of any console this E3.
They have been for years.
They're in a weird spot, though, because they don't need to prove anything, but they have a lot to prove. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like, they can afford to take another loss, a losing, if you want to call it a competition, a losing E3, but...
Yeah, they can afford it, but they definitely don't want to, so we'll see what they do. So go ahead, Carnal. You're begging us in the chat. So go ahead. Sorry. Tell us what you don't want Nintendo to do.
Okay, now I have two that Chano mentioned something. First of all, if they go third party, I would be extremely pissed off and saddened. No offense, I know it's your opinion, Chano, but I hope they never sell off their games or make third party games.
What? They're not selling off anything, by the way. They're going third party is not selling your rights to anything.
I know.
I'm making the games.
I understand that, but I don't think it would be the same. Nintendo's a nostalgia thing for me, so I can't really expand it out. But no, that's my opinion. That'd be a bad thing for me. But the worst thing I can see happening is they take their little figurines and they incorporate them into Super Smash Brothers.
That's a big rumor right now. Oh.
I know. That will fucking ruin Nintendo for me. And I'm not just talking this game. I will literally dislike Nintendo. Because that is just pulling the money train.
What if... I have no idea much about the rumor, but what if they did something like you could buy the full game for $60?
Well, that's fine.
And then, or you could basically make it a free-to-play game where you buy the pieces. Like if you actually want to do the figurine thing, because there are people who like the collectible aspect of the figurines.
Oh yeah.
So what if they did that? Would you?
That would be fine with me.
Okay.
That would be fine. As long as I can pay the normal price for the full game without having to deal with the little shitty characters just because I want a new character to play with, I'd be perfectly okay with that. I understand the appeal of little figurines because my brother is a huge Disney Infinity fan. I don't know why, but sorry, Ben, if you ever listen to this, I had to call you out. It's crap. But I'm just not into those things. It's just a waste of money, in my opinion. But that's my opinion.
What was your other one? Or is that was your second one, right?
Yeah, that was my second one. The first one is disagreeing with you, technically.
That's right. Everyone disagrees with me. It's all good. Who else has anything they don't want to see Nintendo do? Or if you want to disagree with me, you're fine. You can go ahead and tell me.
Just a real big one.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm done.
No, I was gonna say the only thing that I don't want to see Nintendo do is not show any games.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
And it sounds like a simple thing, but anybody that watched E3 last year and actually paid attention to E3 last year, Sony showed 3 games during their press conference. 3 games. That is not what E3 is about. E3 is not about, like Chano said, making fun of your competition with you can share your games type crap. E3 is about showing games. So if you decide not to show up at E3 and to do a web stream, and then you still don't show games, you should have just not shown up at all. So that's what I hope that they don't do. I hope that they do not show games. You have to show games in that
Seriously,
format.
no one wants an old, I think, Japanese man standing there talking about the year of Luigi the entire time. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
14-year-old takes his grandfather's car for a joyride that ends in a high-speed police chase and
That's
a
what I
head-on
want them to not do, to not go out there, excuse me, and not show any games.
Right.
I agree.
Anyone else? Not everyone has to have something, by the way, so don't feel like you have to like scrape the bottom of the barrel to come up with something. Does anyone else have anything they think that they should not do, or what you hope they don't do?
Come up with dumb gimmicks and.
Oh, they already did that. That's already been done.
It wasn't a dumb gimmick.
Show, though.
They're trying new things. It's just they need to stop.
I don't mind that. I'll give them that as long as they're showing games with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have one thing that I don't want. Now, Carnal disagreed with me on one. I'm going to disagree with Carnal on one. I hope to God they don't announce new hardware. And it's not even that because I want them to go third party. It's that it's too soon. And the negative, there'd be a small group of people who would be happy that they're announcing maybe more traditional hardware, more competitive with the Xbox One and PS4 hardware-wise. But it would also be not a good thing for Nintendo to do that. Yes, they haven't sold a ton, but they've sold, a handful. What are they at? Like 5 million, 4 million, something like that? They're upwards.
About, 6, 7 now.
Okay, so they have their user base isn't humongous. Don't get me wrong. I guess, but all those people who did pick it up, and the fans of Nintendo, are not going to be happy that they just bought a freaking Wii U in the last year and a half, and they're announcing a brand new hardware.
No, I agree with that.
I really hope to God. I know it's possible, but I hope they don't, because I think it would be suicide for them to do it. All I can think of is Sega with their Saturn CD, was it?
Yeah.
And then really
Sega
shortly
CD.
after, they came out with Dreamcast.
No, I agree with you. I think even I can quote somebody. Someone said they will not be releasing a new hardware console until they prove with the Wii U, or prove themselves with the Wii U. So I don't expect.
Said that.
I don't.
That was Iwata. Okay.
Yeah, I don't expect them to have a new console, but I wouldn't mind seeing it just because I want to see what else they can do. But that's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
Well,
Fair enough.
Like I said, that we've heard rumors that it could be a new hardware, yes, but it's going to be like a stripped down 3DS for the China and some of the other countries that might not be able to afford a $250 3DS or even the stupidly named 2DS.
Wouldn't that a new adapter they're making be considered new hardware
What adapter are you talking
for
about?
GameCube controllers?
I've never heard of that.
Technically, yes, that would be.
Yeah, they announced adapter to
hard
use
dishware.
GameCube controllers with the new Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, Smash Brothers fans are a weird cult. They love that GameCube controller when no one else. I mean, yeah, sure, people liked it, but they didn't.
Oh, I loved it. And I'm not a hardcore fan of Nintendo.
It worked well for Smash Brothers. I didn't like it for anything else.
Sure.
So.
But that's
Alright.
weird. 2-year-old, hardware.
Yeah,
What's wrong with the Pro controller? That's all I gotta say.
I agree. It's weird.
Well,
It's weird. But
Yeah.
Let's hope to God if they do announce that they have more to announce. than just that. So, just like Average said, hopefully they have a little more to show than something simple like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Nintendo's a tough one because they're not doing well and they don't have a lot on the table yet. Who knows? Maybe they'll blow us away. It's very possible. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. They come out and say, "Bam! Here's 15 awesome games that'll make you want to go get a Wii U tomorrow." I don't expect it. I won't be upset if it happens though. So.
They'll just duct tape the Wii U to the Wii, and then they'll duct tape that to the new console.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much it for Nintendo, unless anyone has any last words. Last rights. Someone want to read their last rights on their way out of this race. All right.
Please don't duct tape two Wii U's together for your next console. There you go.
All right. Let's go to Sony. A little more promising going into E3, I would say, than Nintendo.
Yeah.
They have a little more going for them. By a little more, I mean they have something going for them. Yeah. What does everyone hope and or expect them to do? Or to announce, or to whatever?
I want them to focus on games and stop the political BS. That's pretty much all I want.
You don't want them to repeat my least favorite moment of E3?
No, I want them. I thought your least moment was a really good one. I think that they need to focus on talking about why their console is awesome.
Other than the 1080p. I
Yeah.
think someone should keep a running track of how many times they say 1080p.
Oh, I will. I'm recording everything. I recorded last year about how much they. Last year I recorded and kept track of how many times they said exclusive. They said how many times they said like the word exclusive on stage and how many times they actually meant it. It's kind of funny because they didn't.
1080p.
But this year will be interesting about 1080p. I'll keep track of that. But anyway, I hope to focus on games.
Two separate lists. One for 1080p, one for full 1080p.
I'll have 1080p
they patented
nachos,
that word.
1080p TV, 1080p bananas, 1080p.
Sometimes I wonder about it.
My wife was laughing. Carnal, my wife was laughing in the background.
I don't
Get your
have to
parents on
wonder.
here.
I know.
Find out if they dropped you.
Shit, man,
You
I
mean
dropped
how many
myself.
times? You mean how many times? It's
They grabbed me by the
confirmed.
legs and beat my head against a tree. That's what they did.
All right.
I wonder
So-
why that tree was down in your yard.
Yeah. What else from Sony do we want or expect them to do?
I want and I expect Sony to give me first-party games so I can buy a PS4. Not first-party conjecture or first-party CGI trailers with the expectation that this is how everything's going to look without the hint of a release date. I want to see a game and a snippet of gameplay and a coming in March 2015 or first quarter 2015, or because I know it's not coming in 2014. So, whatever the case may be, I need to see. I need a reason to buy a PS4. That's what Sony needs to do. That's what I want Sony to do. Give me a reason to buy a PS4, because 1080p means absolutely nothing to me and most people that actually play games to play games, not to, try to take digital pictures and hang up on their wall or whatever the fuck they do with those 1080p pictures. Give me a reason to buy a PS4. It's that simple.
Just like that. Okay.
Just like that. Give me a reason to buy it.
Are we talking about PS4?
Talking about Sony. Yeah.
Oh,
Sony.
okay.
Well, we're definitely not talking about the Vita, because the Vita's being outsold right now by everything. So
Even Ouya.
that's all they got.
Yeah.
That's all they
Ouya.
got is PS4.
Yeah.
The Vita is a lot like the Zune, in my opinion. By the way, it's a great piece of tech. I love it. I have one. I have a Vita. I actually have one. It's a great piece of tech. The things that I play on it work awesome. The screen's great. Everything's really cool about it. But it's like trying to jam something into a market that's so clearly not ready for a competitor. It's very similar to how Zune tried to compete with the iPod at the time. You can't do it.
No one's ever beat Nintendo in their handhelds. Every single person has face-palmed themselves into oblivion.
Yeah,
Why do you think you're better now? Because you had a really good home console? That's cute. Stop it.
Yeah, well, I will give the PS Vita and PSP a little bit of props just because they lasted longer than the NVIDIA. Well, the Shield's still around, I think.
No.
What was that?
Shield's still got
Nokia?
a
Was
good
the
life.
N-Gage? Good lord.
The taco.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir.
not to get too sidetracked on that, but I wouldn't mind seeing them announce some really cool stuff for the Vita. More stuff along the lines of the Borderlands and stuff like that. Hopefully not just the same game releasing on Vita, but some big franchises that are making Vita-specific versions. I would like to see that, being an owner of Vita.
I don't think that's really a good idea. I gotta disagree. I mean,
New games is never a good idea.
Ever.
Bad idea? No. Bad idea on a platform they're never gonna beat Nintendo at? Yeah.
I'm speaking from a gamer's perspective, not a corporate
Okay,
financial
sure.
perspective. I could care less if they sold one copy to me, and that was it. At least I got the game. So.
Well, then you're destroying Sony. They've got to make that money.
Oh no.
Got to make that money.
Sony is
You got to make
destroying
wise
itself.
business decisions and then worry about your artistic creativity. Because you can't live on breadcrumbs.
Are we on what we're expecting or want to see?
Both. Those are kind of lumped together.
Okay, what I'm expecting, and y'all can disagree with me, but I am expecting some huge announcements from Sony this year. And the reason is they have been quiet as heck. And I don't think it's just because they have nothing to show or talk about. I honestly expect some really mind-blowing crap, and it may even push Microsoft over the edge. And I'm not talking about them taking shots. I expect that. I really do expect shots taken because that's what Sony does, because they're a bunch of jackasses. But I just really expect Sony's going to be showing some crap that no one saw coming just because of how quiet they've been recently.
To piggyback on that, they are doing that whole movie theater thing.
Yeah, that too.
They're paying people to go see their presentation in the theaters this year for E3.
I think that would have been a great idea back in 2003. When all you could see on was G4. That would have been a fantastic idea.
I'm sure they'll have a fair share of big announcements. I just don't think they'll be as big as they wanted to be.
Sure.
The issue's going to be with Sony's press conference, to me anyway, is that it's already confirmed that you're going to see The Last of Us again. You're going to see another God of War. You're going to see another Uncharted. You're going to see some more of The Order. Like, those are big games. Don't get me wrong. But they're also the 4th and 5th and 6th of some of those games. So it feels like it'll some of the stuff will feel like you've been there before. And I think that will take the wind out of the sails of like the little viral trailer that got released for whatever that game is going to be from Software. If they show that and it looks amazing, that's great. But then you go back to what's actually going to release next year. Is it going to be Uncharted 4? Is it going to be God of War 8? So I'm expecting good things from Sony too. Like I said, I want them to make me want to go out and buy a PS4. So I'm expecting good things from them too. But
I want to respond to that a little bit. You think of last year, you think of how people say Sony won E3 from last year. It wasn't because of what they showed as far as games. It was because of their policies, what they showed about their policy and the price.
Right.
So what are they going to do this year? They don't have they have 1080p, but what else do they have other than to
Project
combat?
Morpheus.
Yeah, there's that.
Whatever.
I forget who said it, but I think it was Chano. If Sony doesn't show something at least twice, it ain't coming out. And I think that headset's the same way. We don't see that at this year's E3, or at least at the Tokyo Game Show. We ain't getting it.
I disagree entirely. There is no freaking way Sony's going to spend all that much fucking money and then knock it off. Not on a VR headset.
They said
There's
that
no way.
the controller and the PS4 or the light bar was meant for VR. That's the reason they couldn't turn it off.
Maybe this has been the plan the entire time. We don't know.
We can turn the Kinect off and it was meant for the system. Don't lie to me.
Also, on the
There's
to comment
options.
on what Average said, I agree with you. I hope they show some new games and new IPs and stuff like that, but it doesn't make me less excited for
No, not at
Sony
all.
because God of War is awesome to me, and I just compare it to like Halo 5. Every year, if they came out with Halo, we'd be just excited because it's freaking Halo. I'm just saying that it's the 5th installment in the series, and I don't think you're any less excited than I am.
Here's a what-if scenario for you, Carnal. What if the next God of War is actually on PS3 and PS4?
I'll be a
whatever.
little disappointed. I hope they go straight PS4 with it because that game has always pushed boundaries on graphics. Because the PS3, God of War 3, probably one of the best looking games on last gen consoles, hands down. I mean, that game was very impressive visual wise. So.
Are you sure it wasn't maybe more scale than visuals?
I don't think so. I think the visuals were epic. From the title screen, you're going right into the game.
It did look good. It was a very good looking game.
I think it was more about artistic scale for me. The game looked good, sure. But I think it was more with artistic scale. You didn't expect something that massive to be moving around in the world with you climbing, all over Titans and stuff like that.
Well, that was awesome too, but just the textures and everything they got out of the power of the PS3, and I mean that was impressive to me, and it's almost just as impressive as like Grand Theft Auto 5, as good as that looked. I mean, that's how those games affected me.
Right. Sure. I think I haven't went.
Landshark.
I'm expecting a lot of good games out of them. I would definitely say we're not going to see a lot of bombshells. We'll see 2 or 3 things that'll be like, wow, we never expected that. But beyond that, it's going to be God of War, Uncharted, The Last of Us, 30 indie titles, 2015. Good luck.
30 more indie titles.
more exclusive games than any other platform in existence. Maybe. But I want them to wow us with games. I'm not a huge fan of Sony. Everybody knows that, but I want to have a reason to go buy one too.
You hide it
My
pretty
wallet
well.
does it, but I want to have a reason to do it.
They're probably going to
No,
mention,
I
speaking of, like, War Thunder is going to go, which is already on the PS4, is going to be cross-platform with PC games. Like, the same group, which is pretty cool. I've had a lot of fun with War Thunder recently. I think it's going to be announced at E3 again. They're kind of reiterated. Just random.
Lost Planet 2, we'll probably see that. A couple of their other, Sony Online titles. There was that new EverQuest that they were hyping up. And they're, what is it, H1Z1?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll definitely probably won't see that till the
Terrible.
end of 2015. That is, if it's as big as they say it is, if it's as big as DayZ.
It's not.
I don't even like DayZ.
It's not.
So I
I've
don't
seen the
really
videos.
care.
I've seen the videos. It's not.
Oh, okay.
I've watched DayZ play it. It looks boring, so I'm not excited for H1Z1 at all.
Sure, but there are people that want DayZ on that platform or on a platform or something, and something similar is going to have to be good enough for most of these people. So hopefully we'll see a lot of things like that. Things we didn't expect or things that make us go, "Wow, that's nice."
Kind of speculating here, but because PS4 does, or Sony does have the H1, whatever that thing is called.
Yep.
There's been rumors that DayZ is going to console. I wouldn't be surprised if we see DayZ at E3 on the Microsoft side because they don't want a competitor on the PC. PS4 wouldn't want to compete with their own game.
Sure.
Just kind of speculating there.
That might be their answer to that. They may have caught wind of it early on, and well, gotta compete.
Hey, let's not talk about MS yet.
Sorry.
That's
All
still
right.
geared towards Sony. We'll be all right.
Anyone else have anything they either want or expect before I give mine and then transition into what I don't want Sony to do? which is a pretty freaking long list, but I'm going to pare it down. Anyone else?
Nope.
Farco? All right. So I'm going to give you what I expect them to do, a couple things, and it's also what I hope they don't do. Kind of lumped into the same thing. So I really hope they don't stress 1080p because I'm sick of it. But I also expect them to because that's what they do. I also really hope they don't go the lowbrow, unprofessional route again. But I expect them to. I hope they announce some cool stuff, but I hope they do it in a reasonable way and don't alienate people in the process. They need to realize that a lot of the people that they're potentially selling their PS4s to are people who are eventually going to own both consoles. And if you're trying to get people to buy a PS4 like me who already have an X1, taking shots at the X1 isn't exactly selling your product to me because I'm happy with my current product and you sound like a jackass. Doesn't really make me want to buy your product because you're ripping a product that I enjoy and like right now that I'm playing with. So better off just not saying anything about it and just focusing on yours, like I said before. As far as what I don't want them to do, I'm just going to leave it at that. I mean, those are the two biggest things to me, and it's not even game related. It's just the way they run their conferences. So
I agree. Everything you said. Well, and we're talking about Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft doesn't really take shots at the competition very often, so not anything like
they're friendly. They're making money. They're happy people.
Yep.
I'd be happy making that kind of money too.
I feel like Sony is like the dog cornered, stuck in the corner, being, lashing out whenever they can, kind of thing. But that's just me.
I think a lot of their fans act that way too.
I don't know.
They just want to win again.
I can't play hypocritical here. I do remember that Google ad by Microsoft.
I think we're talking about Xbox specific in this case.
I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, so
part of Xbox.
Hey, the whole sorry, it's off topic with the Scroogled thing,
which is hilarious, by the way.
Satya Nadella has stopped that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know they stopped. That's just good. I'm happy they did, but
okay, just
they're not. They did take that route. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, they also had the. If you really want to go down that route, the Surface versus iPad, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not saying Microsoft is above comparing their products, but they've typically left it out of E3, which is for the fans, not to try and... they're trying to sell you a product, but E3 really is more for, gaming fans
to show
in
you
general.
what the company is like. It's a public face, not a, this is our product kind of face.
Yep. Who else has anything they don't want to see Sony do?
Just want to see.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to see a bunch of CGI.
Hang on. Yeah, that was another thing I was going to bring up, and I forgot about that. Thank you, Av3rag. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't. We're past that point. Rise, Son of Rome, Hell, Watch Dogs, Wolfenstein, those games prove that you do not need CGI to give off good visuals. You can find plenty of good visuals in gameplay nowadays in your games. You do not need to show a bunch of CGI trailers. And I know we're talking about Sony, but that can go for anybody showing anything at E3.
I hope it's just
away from the CGI.
I hope it's a fad or phase where graphics trump gameplay the last year or two. I want them to go away. It needs to go away.
It really does.
But that's the problem when you do a visual presentation. That's always the first thing people look at. And it may or may not be Microsoft and Sony's fault, but that's what people look at first, and that's what they judge a game on, because it's hard to present your gameplay in a short 2-minute, 3-minute clip. But
totally
you can show off visuals and explosions.
Oh, here, I'll piggyback on that and say I don't want Sony to show a game unless there's something to show. Meaning not CGI. Give me an actual 2 minutes with gameplay footage. If it's not there yet, then don't show me it. Just give me a teaser with the name of the game.
This kind of transitions into Xbox, where what I want to, if you don't mind doing this now, transition into Xbox.
Do you want to have any last PS4 things? Or are we good to go on MS now?
Yeah, we can go on MS.
Okay, I just want to transition with this whole graphics thing for the E3 specifically. I kind of expecting Microsoft to do like 90% in-game real gameplay stuff at E3 and shy away from the CGI, whatever cutscene stuff.
They typically. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Average.
I was going to say, and to piggyback off of that, if you look at E3 last year, Rise of Rome, that was gameplay. Dead Rising 3, that was gameplay. Titanfall, that was gameplay. Those were all gameplay demos in that 2.5, 3-minute time frame. So it can be done. It can be done successfully.
Yep.
We all know that Rise is probably one of the best looking games to ever grace a console. If you take the time and you want to be honest with your fan base, you can do it.
Quantum Break was actually also gameplay.
Yeah, Quantum Break gameplay. I mean, there were so many.
Forza 5.
And we talked about it a little bit, that there were so many things shown at E3 from Microsoft last year for people to say that Sony won E3 or we win E3, gamers win E3. None of those companies win E3. Just for me to put that out there. But there was gameplay shown by Microsoft at E3 last year, so that's what I want to see again.
Yeah. I could be misremembering here, but I believe the only blatant CGI clip was Halo 5. Or, well, we don't know if it's Halo 5. The Halo clip where he pulls the hood back or whatever. And they admitted pretty quickly that was CGI, that they weren't trying to fool anyone. It was just...
Nope.
It's just saying, hey, Halo 5 is coming for Xbox One. So they weren't trying to pass it off as gameplay, which is another thing that irritates me when companies do that.
There was one other.
Which one was that?
The unnamed game. I can't remember the freaking...
Black Tusk.
Yeah, Black Tusk thing.
And they made very clear on that one, too, that was, in engine. It wasn't pre-rendered CGI, though. They said it was in engine. So that wasn't gameplay, but it was at least running on an actual engine that was designed for...
Yeah.
For X1. I assume X1. I guess I don't know for sure. But, so, yeah, what do we want to see Microsoft do?
Just show off a ton of unique first-party games we haven't heard about yet. Pretty much. That's what I want to see. I'm expecting them to show off stuff we already know about. They're going to show Witcher stuff. They're going to show Quantum Break. They're going to show Halo 5. Whatever their Halo 1 through 4 thing is, they're going to talk about that. Everything they've talked about this last couple weeks, they're going to reiterate, but I really want to see them, and I expect them to show off some unknown first-party stuff. Some good stuff.
What I want them to do, and it actually goes to all three, I need somebody to show a Japanese RPG besides Final Fantasy 15.
Yep.
I love Child of Light. And Child of Light, at its core, is a JRPG, but it's not, because it's not a JRPG. It's made by Ubisoft.
We're so good.
I need a JRPG. At this juncture in the last set of consoles, we were already talking about Tales of Vesperia. We were talking about, there were a lot of JRPGs that we were talking about already. They may not have been out, but we knew they were coming. We've heard nothing so far. So I'd like to see Microsoft go back to what made the Xbox 360 launch so successful. The fact that there was a multitude of different genres of games to play. Not just shooters, not just third-person shooters, not just action games. There was a lot at the beginning of that 360 life cycle, and I would like to see them go back with that.
Okay. Wow, this is our favorite console, and no one wants to talk.
I can keep going.
I keep going too. I just was letting people talk.
MWJW, do either of you guys have anything you really want to see from MS?
Games.
God, you guys are so awesome.
I'm saving it to last.
Really, what I want to see.
Okay, I can keep going then. I could say that I want to see them. They're going to show off. I expect them to show off cloud stuff. More about the cloud, Azure, the online. They're going to focus on online a lot, because even like a lot of, I'll kind of talk a little bit outside the topic here, but articles I've seen pop up on news sites about like Watch Dogs and some other games that are cross-platform. A lot of complaints about the PS4 side of having like problems downloading, problems with the PSN network, stuff like that, which aren't popping up on the Xbox side. So I'm expecting Microsoft to again push what they believe is their strength, is their online infrastructure.
Oh yeah.
And a rumor that I forgot to talk about earlier is I think we might see another Cameo game. I saw some tweets about it. I think there might be a Cameo game.
Oh God, are you trying to get me angry again?
No, but I was just throwing it out there.
Carnal and/or MW, you better not say anything about Cameo.
I like Cameo.
Hey, go Cameo, go. If you like it and it's a good game, go.
I liked it. My wife loved it.
Cameo
but
sucked.
yeah, okay. I'm quickly changing topics.
I didn't
we
like it, but if you like it, good for you. That's it. That's all I got.
I do expect Microsoft to play in what they've talked about last E3, which again was the Azure and the MS Compute Cloud, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And then some of the possibly DirectX 12. They may not mention it specifically, like saying, "Oh, here's what DirectX 12 does for you," but they might say this. They might show a game off and then be like, "This was developed with DirectX 12," and kind of like, "Oh wow, that's awesome, and this is what we can expect in the future," kind of thing. So,
Oh, yeah.
and Smart Glass and some other multi-OS stuff too, but anyway, someone else go.
Yeah, I am expecting them to touch on backwards compatibility to a point, not necessarily with Xbox 360, so to speak, but I think they are kind of missing out when it comes to all of the XBLA, all of the downloadable titles. That would be very easy to emulate, I think, on the Xbox One. You should be able to access all of your downloadable Xbox 360 games and play them in some way, shape, or form. And I'm pretty sure, especially with all of the changes to games with Gold, they'll probably go into that. We might see some type of backwards compatibility or forwards compatibility, however you want to, present it. But I think something like that is going to be in the cards for their little press conference. Somebody else?
Yeah, I got one. I want to go off the realm of, or in the realm of Fantasyland again, kind of like I did with Nintendo. One thing that I would love to see them do on stage is announce that they acquired someone. Not necessarily, I don't even care who it is. I just want to see them on stage and not have anyone have even heard a peep of it.
Like
Just
a studio?
Yes. Or even,
Or IP?
Not so much IP, unless it's a really good IP.
Okay.
But just come on stage and be like, oh, here's an exclusive game. And then afterward they say, oh yeah, by the way, they are now part of the Microsoft Studios, company.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call it. I would love to see them do that on stage and be a developer that no one had even suspected.
Square
So-
Enix.
That was my speculation from a while back.
I'd love for them to, kind of like last year, where Phantom Pain was the first trailer that they showed. Let the first trailer be Tomb Raider 2. Have Crystal Dynamics come out and say whatever, and say by the way, you'll only be able to play Tomb Raider 2 on Xbox One or Xbox 360 or whatever the case may be. And then you could have Final Fantasy 15 shown and say you can only play. Well, Final Fantasy 15 was in production for both before, so that might still make it. But anything going forward from that, Square Enix, like the show, they would just keep saying you can only play it on Xbox One. You can only play it on Xbox One, and that way like, oh wow, they either bought all of these games or they bought the studio. So that would be kind of cool.
I'm hoping they do some DirectX 12 demonstrations.
I think they will. I'm pretty sure they will.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff. Go ahead. I heard someone talk.
No.
Oh,
All you.
There's some stuff I read that I can't share exact specifics, but I want to just kind of hyping Microsoft E3 and why I'm so excited about it. Microsoft isn't out to just kind of catch up to Sony. They're out to destroy Sony. And there's some stuff that I read behind the scenes that you guys won't read. I'm expecting that this, not just E3, but like maybe the next 12 months. I'm expecting a lot of momentum to grow on the Microsoft side. And slightly different, the like Quantum Break, which is going to have the TV show tie-in. And I think they mentioned Halo might have a TV show. They're doing a Halo TV show, but
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg.
They're doing that for sure. But they're going to be. I don't think that's definitely not the two they're stopping at. They're going to do a lot more. I think they're going to announce a lot more of that at the E3 this year. Not just Quantum Break and Halo, but some other things too. And then they're going to keep pushing that going forward. So I can kind of see the writing on the wall for Microsoft or Xbox in the next maybe 2-3 years, and it's a lot more than what the general consensus talks about online right now.
Well, cool. I mean, momentum's trying to gain towards Sony. That they came out and they did everything right, so people are expecting things to go straight forward. Life never takes you straight forward. It always curves. So we do not know what's going to happen with both companies down the road, but I expect good things from both.
Yep. Well, is there anything you guys don't want to see from Microsoft? Specific?
I don't want to see a bunch of suits on stage.
Yep.
I kind of don't. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done with that. Sorry.
No, I understand you have to introduce the games. You have to introduce whatever it is that you have to introduce. But I want to see games and I want to see gameplay. I don't want to hear. I understand that we're not at E3 anymore. The fans are not present at E3 anymore. So you're going to cover your sales and you're going to cover this and that. But I don't need you on stage more than 3 minutes to explain that. Do it right at the beginning and then go right into games. That's what I want.
I think Phil's actually addressed that he's pushed most of the suits off, and he's going to have people up there that are excited, and that's what we want.
As for things I don't want to be shown, I really don't want to see a VR set. I just don't want them to go into that market. I could really care less about virtual reality, to be honest.
I don't expect that to show up at all.
Well, I hope it doesn't.
Maybe at TGS or something like that. But
I wouldn't mind them announcing it later or something if they have something in the works. But I don't want it showing up at E3. E3 should be about games.
They're more likely to push the Illuma Room before they push the Fortaleza, whatever it's called, their VR.
Fortaleza.
Yeah. Illuma Room is going to be their thing, I think.
Had a thought, lost it. But no, I really think Microsoft needs to step back from stuff like that. Sure, it could add some amazing experiences to everyone who forks up the money for it. But at the same time, you're kind of isolating your fan base again, kind of like what they did with the Kinect. And as much as I love my Kinect, not everybody wants it. We've seen that. They pulled back from that a little bit. And putting in these Forzarella glasses, this VR is just going to push it, further and further apart. As long as they focus on the core gamers, those are the people that are buying the consoles still to this day. It's not the mom and pop. It's not the Wii owners. It's not the casuals. Right now, the price is too high for those people. Later down the road, sure, absolutely. Go after every mom and pop you can get and show them all the cool stuff that they can do with Netflix.
The best thing, in my opinion, they can do if they really want to destroy Sony, as Landshark said, is focus on the games. If they can turn every single Sony fan into a hypocrite, because Sony fans spout all this nonsense about games and how games look better, and if Sony starts going into the peripheral market with like the VR headset and everything, they're going to be the biggest hypocrites on the planet, because Sony fanboys gave us so much crap about Kinect that it's just a gimmick, yada yada. And I understand that now they're unpacking it with the box, but if I don't think the best thing they can do is just go for games and stick to games.
games and excitement, be thrilled to be there and show them to us.
Exactly.
You show us excitement and not some long-winded, stupid speech that's dark and depressing like they did with Infamous Second Son last year on Sony's booth. I wanted to slit my own throat. Oh my god, get off the stage and show me the game.
Well, there were some tweets by Phil Spencer and also some stuff I read behind the scenes that make it quite clear that Microsoft has realized that they need to focus on gamers, and that's their focus on, especially E3 and going on the rest this year. And then on top of that, which is fact, that Xbox owners spend more money on games and content than the competitors. I think that Microsoft realizes that in order for them to make the most money, they got to focus on the games and gamers, because they are the ones that spend the most.
Content to buy.
Yeah, if they focus on the games, and the gamers are the ones that spend money on their stuff. So they focus on games. They supply the gamers with all this other content, the Xbox music and movies and blah blah blah. But the money is going to come from the gamers originally. And on top of that, gaming division, or the game entertainment in general, like the whole U.S. world, makes more money than music and movies combined in the industry. So it's quite clear where the money's at. And I think Microsoft has kind of like been, okay, yeah, we realize where it's at. We'll focus on the gamers, and clearly they know how to make money. So I'm feeling pretty positive about Microsoft, especially. I'm gonna kind of go on a tangent here. Microsoft as a whole, with Satya Nadella in charge now, their stock price has jumped above $40 a share, which is the most it's been in like 8-10 years, something like that, something crazy. And it's just, they're in a positive swing, and the same cannot be said about any competitor of Microsoft right now, as far as gaming goes. So, they know what they're doing, and they're excited.
And that's good for us.
Yes, it's good for gamers specifically.
Well, everybody. Yeah.
Swing.
All right.
Hugs. Everyone gets a hug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else have any things they don't want to see? 'Cause if not, we're nearing the end here.
I don't want to see anybody else at E3 ever get a tattoo of a video game on their arm.
Oh, come on, those are amazingly.
Too late.
You gotta know that there's excitement behind that, though.
There's
happy.
excitement, and then there's just drunken stupor in Tijuana type shit. That was drunken stupor in Tijuana type shit. You don't.
All them tattoos look really good. You gotta admit it. Come on now. Now, whether he's got them covered up with EA logos.
But no, I think we're pretty good. It's going to be fun. We will definitely have a lot of coverage. I know on the 9th will not be doing anything that doesn't have to do with E3, and also for the rest of the week I'll be available to kind of update the site and trailers and things like that for the people that may have to work and not be able to watch. On Twitch, if you don't know, Twitch is the official streaming partner of E3 this year, so you can catch just about everything there. Even if you are at work, just install the Twitch app. You're welcome, Twitch, for the advertisement. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I am excited. I have not been excited for an E3 like this in a long time. There hasn't been this many games coming out in such a short period of time ever that I can remember.
Honestly, another thing that makes it exciting to me is if we do plan doing what we're doing, watching it all together, on Xbox, that's going to be fun.
I got it open. You want to come in and talk? We can laugh and cry together.
There's a party set up at 12:01 a.m.
I'll be there.
Well, I'll connect in, but I might be sleeping. I'm just saying.
Energy drinks and all.
Yep.
Quick note on next week's podcast then. So there won't be a Sunday night podcast. It won't be up until probably Monday night, early Tuesday morning, whenever I can get it put together. But it's going to be split into two podcasts, mainly because Sony decided to do their press conference. late in the day on Monday. So instead of trying to squeeze everything in throughout the day or late that night, we're going to do what we can on Monday night, which will probably consist of Microsoft and EA, Ubi.
EA and Ubisoft.
Ubi.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then the next we'll record a sort of a second part. We'll post these up. We're not going to wait to post up the first part. The first part will go up right when that one's ready, and then the second night we'll do one on Tuesday night, which will encompass Sony and Nintendo. Yep. So we'll be splitting the two. Yeah. We'll give you some good coverage on that, hopefully, and some interesting thoughts, hopefully, and lots of good news on all the systems.
Is anybody here not going to be watching it all day on the 9th and 10th? Or 9th specifically? Are we all watching it?
I already told the kid and the wife they got to find themselves someplace to live for the next 2 days.
Once again, I have no life.
I might just leave my recording on whatever Twitch channel is streaming the whole thing. I just record the entire day and just cut out the parts that I don't need and for review. I'll post it up on our site or whoever wants it.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. If anyone else doesn't have anything else for this week, I think we'll wrap it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thanks,
It's been a
everyone.
fun one.
Yeah. Next week will be even more fun and long. I'm sure it'll be a lot to talk about. So yeah, one last little bit to check DirectXbox.com in the next day or two, and there'll be some layout changes, temporary changes for E3 specific, sort of a E3 celebration. So we'll get that in place hopefully either tonight or tomorrow, and it'll stay up there through E3. Nothing drastic. It's not going to alter your life. But it is sort of an E3 makeover to the site for.
And it's courtesy of our graphic designer, Carnal. So thank you.
I'm the best graphic designer ever.
Yeah, that's why we keep him around.
It looks like it was drawn with crowns. That's what it was.
No, it's pretty cool looking. Actually, I just saw it. I like it a lot. So I think you guys listening will like it too.
We'll get that up. So with that said, make sure you tune in next week for our 2-part podcast, and have a great week until then. Thanks everyone for joining, and thanks for listening.
Have a good night,
All right,
everybody.
see you guys.
Bye.